Josh, we're talking all about the first alert weather day that we have set out for today. Now, this is the last one in a string of 3 that we had yesterday and the day before, all associated with the heat. And that was originally why we put this first alert weather day out for today as well, for Friday. But now shifting a little bit more to the combination of both heat and, yes, some rainfall, some heavy downpours that we're expecting to see, and actually that we've already seen so far this morning. Specifically, southern portions of Michiana this morning saw some isolated heavy downpours that brought areas around 2 inches of rain, some near 3 inches of rainfall. Tippecanoe saw about 2.22 inches of rainfall this morning. Plymouth are over 1 inch, as well as Warsaw and Knox. LaPorte, Buchanan, a little bit more of those central northern areas of Michiana saw less of that rainfall, but still a decent amount of soaking rain for most of Michiana this morning, but especially those southern portions that really saw the bulk of that rainfall, again around 2 inches in some isolated areas. And now our live radar that we're seeing, this one's looping over the last 45 minutes. And about 45 minutes ago, just mostly seeing light showers, but zooming in now over the last probably 15 minutes, specifically to Marshall County there, a little bit north of Plymouth and over Plymouth, one of those downpours, those isolated downpours, we've been calling them hit and miss because that's exactly what they are. Areas just to the west, just to the north, not seeing any rainfall, but then Plymouth, that downpour developing, strengthening, and bringing a good amount of heavy downpours, heavy rainfall to those areas, now moving a little bit east, I should say, of Bremen and Bourbon. So continuing to see that for the rest of the day today as we go throughout our future track. That's what we're expecting to see, those hit and miss isolated showers, possibly a few of them developing into some storms with a little bit of lightning, but not expecting severe weather with the rainfall, the showers, the storms that we're moving through for the day today, and continuing to see pretty isolated rain into those evening hours. Overnight, mostly expecting just to see some cloud cover, more rain on the way for your Saturday. Also a note for the day today is just that humidity that's been sticking around. We, of course, had the first alert weather days the past 2 days because of the heat and the humidity. Heat is lowered today. We've actually got an air temperature that's about 10 degrees cooler than what we saw yesterday, but the humidity is sticking around, so we still really have that very sticky, miserable at times feeling in the air, even though that air temperature is just going to peak likely in the lower 80s for the day today. And speaking of that, looking at our difference between our air temperature and our heat index not nearly as high. Again, as we were seeing the past few days, we got around triple digits, sometimes above 105 degrees for that heat index. Over the past 2 days, not anywhere near that for our day today, and that's because that air temperature just in the 70s into maybe the 80s before continuing to drop down in those overnight hours. So we're really just dealing with that high humidity that we're feeling today and tomorrow. Humidity is still going to be around before we get some more scattered downpours, storms, and of course you see there muggy for tomorrow as well, John.